Hello everybody. So this is the continuation of module 1 part 3. So in the previous video lectures we have seen part 1 and part 2. In part 1 we had discussed about the introduction to computer communication network. In part 2 we had seen about the layered structured OSI model and TCP/IP model with the addressing. So the continuation of that same thing in the part 3 we will be seeing about introduction to data link layer, because we are not going to discuss much about the physical layer, because physical layer whatever the modulation, demodulation, encoding, decoding, everything depending on the mechanical and electrical connections, we will be studying more in the digital communication. So here we are starting our communication or our information with the data link layer, that is the second layer we are starting in the computer communication network. So in the second layer, data link layer, what and all, this is the introduction to data link layer. So here you can see this is a sample hybrid network where how the communication is being carried out. So we have to keep in mind, so every time the information from the source to the destination, it will pass through the data link layer of all the components or the nodes in the network. So every node in the network, the information will be passing through the data link layer. And as you know, data link layer is a node to node, hop to hop delivery. So when in this example, when Alice is sending information to Bob, so everywhere when it is crossing the routers or when it is crossing the switches or when it is reaching the ISPs, everywhere the information will be traveling, touching the data link layer. So it is traveling from one node to the other node of the data link layer. So this is the sample example how the structure will be there and how the data link layer is working. So what are the different things, or what are the main thing you have to see here is LAN. When you see the communication in this example also, you can see a small part of the internet and nodes in the links. So how it is node to node or hop to hop communication, as I told you, every component that is able to transfer or receive the information is considered as a node. So in the data link layer, the communication is only responsible from node to node, that is one hop to other hop, the information communication is responsible. So that is the responsibility of data link layer, that is only from this node to the other node. So a communication with only 3 nodes. In this example we can see a communication is happening only with 3 nodes, that is source, intermediate nodes and the destination. So everywhere the information is going from one link to the other link. So dark line you can see it is the link, dotted line is the logical link, and data link layer header will be added in each frames. So here a packet at the data link layer is normally called a frame. So information in the physical layer is known as, it is in the form of bits. The information in the data link layer is in the form of frames, that you have to keep in mind. So in the physical layer the data is in the form of bits, in the data link layer the data is in the form of frames. So what are all the services of the data link layer? So major services of the data link layer are framing, flow control, error control and congestion control. So these are all the services of the data link layer. Now let us start one by one. So what is this framing and how these two categories of links? So two categories of links are point to point link, broadcast link. In a point-to-point link, the link is dedicated to the two devices. In a broadcast link, the link is shared between the several pairs of devices. So, in a point-to-point link, there is only one link that is dedicated to the information. Whereas in a broadcast link, the information is shared between the others. So, you can see data link control layer and the media access control layer. So, when it is in broadcast, you need to see about the media access control, but whereas in point to point it is only the data link layer, the link is dedicated. So in other case you have to share the link. So this addressing already we have seen in the previous topic, link layer addressing. So whatever we have seen in the physical layer address, that physical layer address will be changed to the link layer address. Link layer address is nothing but your link address, that is the IP address what we are going to see. In this example you can see the link layer address. So here you are having a destination address as 87 and the source address as 10. This same example already we had seen in the previous part. So there are 3 types of addresses in the data, so don't get confused. In the previous part we had discussed about the address, that is about the TCP IP addresses, that is you are having physical address, you are having link address, you are having port address and the specific address. But whereas when you speak about the data link layer, here the addresses are unicast, multicast and broadcast. As you know, unicasting means one-to-one communication, multicasting means one-to-many communication, broadcasting means one-to-all communication. So this is how the communication is taking place. In the data link layer, the addressing is in three types, that is unicast, multicast and broadcast. So when we are discussing about here, very important, in the network layer you are having the IP address, but whereas when it is coming to the data link layer, it should have link address. So the responsibility of the ARP, that is address resolution protocol. So what address resolution protocol is going to do, whatever the IP address it is getting from the network layer, it will convert that IP address into the link layer address and give it to the data link layer. So the major responsibility of ARP in the network layer is to convert IP to the link layer. So as you see, ARP is nothing but address resolution protocol. The ARP protocol is one of the auxiliary protocols defined in the network. It belongs to network layer because it maps IP address to the logic link address. So it is present in the network layer. ARP accepts an IP address from the IP protocol, maps the address to the corresponding link layer address and passes it to the data link layer. As I told you, it is going to convert the IP to the link layer by using the technique of mapping. Here you can see one example how ARP request is broadcast. So in this you are having a LAN where you are having section A, system A and system B. When system A is sending the information to all the devices in the network, it is sending a request to get the link address. So when it is sending the address, the system B is responding through link 2. So it will clearly understand that systems B belongs to the link 2, that is N2. So here you can see the request is looking for the link layer of address node with IP address N2. So what is having N2 address, it has sent a request. So it got a reply from the L2, that is it is belongs to the link L2. So this is how the ARP is going to send the request and get the reply from the systems in the LAN. So ARP is also having the format of the packets of information, that is the data format. So ARP for packet format is like this: hardware type, what is the hardware type used, what is the protocol type used, what is the length of the hardware, what is the protocol length, what is the operation, whether it is a request or a reply. If it is a request, it is the field is 1. If it is a reply, the field is 2. Then you are having source hardware address, source protocol address, destination hardware address and destination protocol address. So this is the format of the ARP packet when it is used to either send or get the information. Now we will be seeing about the data link control. As you know, the data link layer was divided into two parts. If it is unicasting, it is only data link control. If it is multicasting, it is media access control, MAC. So now in this part we will be seeing about the data link control, DLC. So the responsibilities of DLCs, the major responsibility of the DLCs, first one is framing. So framing is nothing but organizing the bits to be carried by the physical layer is called framing. That is, grouping of the bits together is known as framing. Data link layer needs to pack bits into frames so that each frame is distinguishable from the other. That is, one frame should be distinguished by the other. So packing of bits together is known as framing and it should be distinguishable. To separate a message from one source to the destination by adding a sender address to the destination. So in the framing, you are having a data. With the data you need to keep the distinguishing from, that is, you have to identify one frame with the other frame and you have to attach the source address and the destination address. So everything should be added together and made as a frame. So here in framing you are having two types of framing, that is fixed size framing and variable size framing. So in fixed size framing, no need for defining the boundaries of the frames, because fixed size means if I tell 10 bits, every frame is having only 10 bits. From the 11th bit, it belongs to second frame. From the 21st bit, it belongs to the third frame. Likewise, there is no need to put the boundaries for the frames in fixed size. The size itself can be used as a delimiter. Example is ATM WAN. If you go for variable size framing, it needs a way to define the end of the frame and beginning of the next. Because in variable, you don't know what is the frame, when it is starting, when it is ending. So you have to keep a starting and ending to the frame. So for this, you are having two approaches. This is known as character oriented approach and bit oriented approach. And this is a very important question at the university exams. So most of the times either they will ask you to explain character oriented approach or the bit oriented approach. So concentrate more on this because you have to write the diagram and explain. So in framing there are two techniques, that is fixed size and variable size. In variable size again you are having two approaches, that is character oriented approach and the bit oriented approach. First let us see the character oriented approach. In the character oriented approach, as I told you, for every frame you need to have a starting and ending delimiter. You can see in the example, in the structure you can see flag. There is a flag. First flag is telling about the start of the frame, last flag is telling about the end of the frame. After the flag you are having a section known as header. In the header it is responsible for having the information about the address of the address and regarding the data and regarding the protocols used. Trailer is used for the error control. So you need to have some flow control and error control. For this purpose we'll be using the trailer. So here in between whatever is your data is in the between. So suppose some character is similar to the flag, what will happen in the data? If the character is similar excuse me, sorry, excuse me, if any character that is similar to flag is present in the data, then unknowingly your data might assume that is the end of the frame. So in order to avoid, whenever a character similar to flag is repeating in the data section, then you have to add a extra character, dummy character, that is known as ESC. ESC is escape. So whenever it sees ESC, it understands that it is a dummy character and it has to remove that one. And suppose something similar to ESC is available, then you will add one more ESC so that it is going to remove that one. So this process is known as character stuffing or bit stuffing, byte stuffing. Byte stuffing is done whenever the character similar to flag or escape is present in the data. An extra dummy character, similarly ESC, will be added. So when you see two ESC or two ECSC with a flag, the ESC dummy character will be removed. This approach is known as character oriented approach. Similarly, we are having the bit oriented approach. So here the data is in the form of bits. So this is known as bit oriented approach. Here the flag is also in the form of bits. So the flag structure is 0 followed by 6 ones and 0. So whenever you are having a flag that is 0 followed by 6 ones, 8 bits, that is 0 followed by 6 ones and a 0, that is the starting of the flag. Again when you get a 0 followed by 6 ones and a 0, that is the ending of the flag. So if any character similar to the flag is there in the data, then it unknowingly assumes that as the end of the frame and data will be lost. So to avoid this problem, we are going for the bit oriented approach. So here whenever in the data 0 followed by 5 ones, we are not waiting up to the 6 ones, 0 followed by 5 consecutive ones, a 0 will be added. This is 0 is a dummy 0. So in the data, when it is sent to the upper layer, when it sees 0 followed by 5 ones and next bit is a 0, it assumes that 0 as a dummy character and removes it from the data. So this bit stuffing is done to avoid the problem of flag. Whenever the character similar to flag is there in the data, to avoid this problem, we are going with the bit oriented approach. All of you have to have more knowledge and concentration about character stuffing and bit stuffing, because these two are there in the lab as programs. We have to write programs for character stuffing and bit stuffing and execute in the lab. So character stuffing and bit stuffing, you can make sure that it is an important point and you have to have more knowledge and concentration towards these two. Then we are having the DLC protocols. As you know, DLC can either be connectionless or connection oriented. As we know, we have discussed about the connectionless as well as connection oriented. What is this connectionless? Is a connectionless protocol is there is no connection between the frames. It is not between the systems, it is the connection between the frames. No frames are connected each other. The frames are not numbered and there is no sense of ordering. Most of the data link protocols of LANs are connectionless protocols. So without any connection between the frames, they can go in any direction, but they have to reach to the destination. If the frames are not connected, this approach is known as connectionless. Connection oriented means every frames are numbered and sent in order. If they are not received in order, the receiver needs to wait until all frames belonging to the same set are received and deliver them in order to the network layer. So this is known as connection oriented. So every frame is having a connection, they are having number and it should go in the sequence. Connection oriented protocols are rare in wired LANs, but whereas them in some point to point protocols, some wireless LANs and some WANs. So this is about the connection protocols and connection oriented protocols. The next part we'll be seeing in the next video lecture. I hope here very important, as I told you, you need to concentrate on the bit stuffing and the byte stuffing. Thank you.